All right, just testing audio, making sure that it's working. If you can hear me, let me know. Hopefully, this is the last time I have to do this. I am probably just gonna buy a new computer. Everybody tells me to use a Mac. I don't like Mac, but I guess that's what I'm doing. All right, let me just see if this is working. Ah, yes, I am. Audio's good. Awesome. I think we're about start time anyway. This is like my fifth attempt at a stream. I've had blue screens of death. I've been copyrighted by YouTube. There's a lot of things I haven't done right this time. I'm gonna get this working though. I promise you guys. This is gonna be fixed in the future. I made enough money today where I can buy a Mac if I'm forced to. So it's all good. I'm just gonna wait to give a few other people time to try and get on the right stream. 1 second here while I do that. Just give me a sec. So this has been a cluster at best. Kill this one. Delete forever. It's dead. All right, I got a few to kill. 1 second here, guys. God, there's so many. What a mess. I did. Yeah, yeah. I go to the gym a lot. Plus I'm lazy and I'm retired, so I can just like run around like this. I do have pants on though, so that's good. Hey, hopefully this is the last stream and it works. Let's see. Bitcoin is still doing good. All right, so I might just get started. Hopefully this is it. I got to figure out music. I got to figure out captions. I got to figure out how to turn this timer off. Let's kill that. Boom. Okay, that's gone too. All right, so I'm learning tons of new stuff, but my computer, despite having a 24 core, 64 gigabit with a $2,500 graphics card, it just dies all the time. It's so incredibly frustrating. As much money as I've spent on this thing, and I think all my friends, James from Invest Answers, Tom Nash, just a bunch of other people have all said that I need to get a Mac. So I might just do that because I can't deal with this crap every time. I need stuff that works, and I don't want to interrupt your guys' day with like 6 different streams. So I will just fix this. Hey, thanks for the starter pack, man. Appreciate it. All right, so let's get started. So portfolio made a couple 100,000. This is just my main. It was a great day. Mostly, ironically, PayPal made up almost 40K of that, and then CleanSpark was the MVP. That's almost probably $100,000 between all of my accounts just on that one. And then Hood was 33K and Bitfarms, bunch of money on my other accounts from all these. So it was a good day for any of you guys that are invested in Bitcoin. Yeah, get a Mac. Yeah, I think I have to, man. This is driving me nuts. I can't do this anymore. I can't have streams crashing. I just can't deal with it. I might even get one tonight. Yeah, you're right. I should. Yeah. Anyway, so let's just take a look here. So that's it for the portfolio. Market breadth. We actually, let me just adjust here and see if this is right. I feel like this is, yeah, okay. So market breadth, strangely, we had some, it's kind of fascinating. If I look over here, you can see how the big dogs won. I mean, they did really good today, but then also when we look at the Russell, you can see how it went up 1.5% today. So that actually did really well too. Let me refresh. Yeah, see, look at this, like Windows going down. I'm gonna try a different browser or two. I'm using this Bitcoin crypto one called Brave. I think that might suck too. So before I replace my $10,000 computer, I might just try it and wipe out this browser and use a different one. I also have like 80, 100 windows open. I don't think that helps either. Thank you for joining the starter pack, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, so the Russell did really good. So we had some market breadth today. Let's take a look here real quick. I didn't look to see where the S&P had closed. SPX. See how we did here. Oh, another just record week. Just stupid week. Look at that, man. Just straight up defying gravity. Amazing. Just heading towards that next fib level. That's great and scary all at the same time. I think the NASDAQ was probably about the same. Let me pull it up here real quick. Oh. I'd adjust the size of my window, but I'm afraid to. So this is as big as it gets, guys. NASDAQ, wow, just a stupid day across the board again. There is so much. So the CPI got revised for the month of December slightly lower, which might make the case again that we should actually be lowering rates sooner than previously anticipated. Let me actually pull up the CME Fed Watch tool. I'm just going to refresh here real quick, see how that thing is doing. Yeah, I think it did get a little bit higher. I think it was like lower than this. It was like 12 or 14 or something. And so we're up to almost 20% now for a potential rate cut in March. And then in May, 60%. So not too much of an impact, but I do think that that's going to change. And let's see here. Macro, I don't think there's too much else that's interesting. Oil hasn't changed. The dollar's pretty much the same. What I want to talk about today is Bitcoin. And then we're going to get to PayPal too, actually. Christian, thank you for that. So yeah, but Bitcoin here, Bitcoin is the monster in the room. And there is a video I made yesterday. If you guys didn't catch that, we're going to talk about it right now because something happened. Something happened that was very, very important. I'm going to pull it up right here and read this to you and then explain what it means in English. The provisions were issued as accounting standards update, ASU, blah, 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 intangibles, goodwill, yada, yada, yada. So FASB is basically accounting regulation. And this is like standard accounting practices. Well, what I didn't realize is there's new mandatory changes coming with Bitcoin that were coming December 15th, 2024. That's what I thought. That's when I thought the way that Bitcoin miners and other companies were able to basically report their Bitcoin holdings each quarter was going to change. But no, it's better than that. So Apple Vision, yeah, that's what we need. It's better than that. So the mandatory change is like on December 15th, 2024, which means it goes from intangible to tangible. And all that means in layman's terms is that before miners and MicroStrategy and Tesla were getting screwed, and any corporation holding Bitcoin was getting screwed. Thank you, Tim. They had to report their holdings of Bitcoin at the lowest amount of any quarter. So whatever quarter it was in, if it was Q4, whatever the lowest price was, that's what they had to report their assets as. Bitcoin is incredibly volatile, especially in a bear market, so that can make your reserves or your assets look like they're just non-existent, which is bad. And that's what's prevented corporations from adopting Bitcoin as a store of value. Well, what I didn't realize is it's not December 15th, 2024 when this happens. People can start it now. So you can actually start this now. And so there's companies like CleanSpark that just changed the way they reported and made it to where they're reporting at what their actual earnings are and or what the asset was worth at the time at the end of the quarter. And so that makes a huge difference in what their performance looked like. As you can see by their revenue down here in blue, their revenue shot up. Look at their net income shot up. Their cash to debt is higher now. Like everything is better. Their revenue growth year over year is 165%. So even though, yeah, sorry, Chris, dude, I'm gonna make you a moderator here too. I had a bunch of technical issues and I was copyright infringing people's music and my computer was crashing. I'm gonna probably buy a Mac, maybe even tonight, just so I can be done with this crap and have something that works. And then I'll figure out the music because I want to jam out before I start these. Anyway, so sorry about that. Happy you're in the right one now. Now, so with CleanSpark, and not just CleanSpark, but every miner, that's why they're skyrocketing today, guys. That's why you're seeing, just mad gains on these. It's a combination of Bitcoin getting to 47.5. Sure, it's definitely that, but it's not just that. It's this ruling people are starting to realize, and that's why I made a video yesterday, that these miners, not just these miners, but MicroStrategy went up like 25% in the last couple of days. Not exactly your standard ETF increase, right? But it's because of these accounting rules helped them out a ton and have completely changed the game for them. I wish I would have noticed that with them, because then I could have probably caught CleanSpark earlier. I'm glad some of you guys were able to get in last night after our last video, but I wish I would have caught that stuff earlier. I really, really do. It's all in the nuance, and so I missed out on this, and I apologize. But that's why CleanSpark was up 33% today. There's new accounting rules, and Bitfarms is down, or is up like 8%. I bought a bunch of that because they're going to be reporting earnings in March, I think on the 20th. And so they're going to have a benefit from this too. And I'm going to do further research, probably watch some Sebastian Ski videos, and then look at other stuff. And I'm going to see how good Bitfarms is set up for that earnings report too. And I'll probably do that one live. But the gist of what I wanted to get across to you guys today, and hopefully the stream doesn't get laggy and other crap so it ruins it, is that the world has changed for Bitcoin in a dramatic way. I talked about this a little bit in the other video yesterday. Was in effect per December. Yeah, actually, it doesn't go in mandatory effect for the FASB ruling until the end of this year. But organizations could start deciding to do that and do it on their own as like a trial starting now. So it's really, really sweet. And yeah, so this is transformational, because now every corporation in the United States of America can start hodling Bitcoin as part of their reserves to offset the inflation of cash. And more CFOs are going to figure this out. Last cycle, this didn't happen, right? Last cycle, this couldn't happen. People are like, oh, well, the SEC doesn't even have a Bitcoin ETF. Boom, box checked. Oh, well, the accounting rules aren't good for holding Bitcoin. Box checked. That is fixed now for every organization in America. At least from my understanding. I'm going to go through the entire ruling and make sure that I'm 100% clear on it, and that it's not just like ones that had it before that are grandfathered in. I'll check. But as far as I understand it, anybody can start doing this right now for corporations. And then you add on top of that the halving in 68 days. And then you add on top of that all of the Bitcoin ETFs. And then you add on top of that South Korea meeting with Gary Gensler this last week so that they can spin up their ETFs and figure out any hurdles that might exist. And then you add on top of that Hong Kong looking at adding a bunch of Bitcoin ETFs. My whole video yesterday was, this is transformational for the world right now. And so you need to realize that the opportunity that is in front of us right now with Bitcoin will make you rich if you follow it. There are times in history where the world changes in a dramatic way. If this doesn't feel like that time after pandemics and wars with Russia and Ukraine, wars with Israel and everybody else, and the Red Sea getting blockaded, and China threatening to invade Taiwan, and China's market collapsing, and all the money printing, 40% of the money printing in just the last 4 years, 40% of the money printing that ever existed in our country's history. If you don't feel the tides changing, you're going to get run over by it. And so I would just highly suggest that people have exposure to Bitcoin and that they see this change in the world and the fact that this has never been more needed. This is my macro talk today, okay? The other stuff doesn't even matter today. This is it. It's about Bitcoin. It's about rates coming down. It's about global liquidity picking up. It's about the best store of value on the planet when we have an election year where it's actually the most elections in like the last couple of decades across the planet. And you have China talking about $1.4 trillion infusions, US dollars, just to keep their market up. The money printers are going burr. They're going burr in a way that we've never seen in history. Okay? This is the stuff that collapsed the Roman Empire burr. Except it's not just us. We're one of the better ones, and we're the world reserve currency. So if you don't get it by now, Bitcoin goes up. Larry Fink, the largest asset manager for BlackRock on the planet, told you that Bitcoin is digital gold 2.0. He said it is a flight to safety in scary times. Whether it's war, whether it's economic issues, it is the place that will save you. So not only can you get rich from this, but it can save your ass. So, and now corporations have access to it so that they don't have to worry about currency concerns in the future too. I could say this a million different ways, but I highly encourage all of you have exposure to Bitcoin. If you don't, you're just being foolish. If you missed 2017, if you missed, 2020 and 2021, if you missed these times, great. Like you might have had an excuse, right? You might have had all those other reasons like, oh, no SEC approval, ETFs, blah. You might have had some reasons. You might have had a narrative that you could work with and say like, oh, I'm not stupid for missing out on this. But if you miss this cycle, you are stupid. You're stupid. Or at least making stupid decisions. There's no excuses anymore. So, anyway, my rant is over. At least for a couple of minutes. Let's move on. Targets on CleanSpark. The next one's an easy one. It's the 18 range. I don't know how quickly we get to it. It could happen super fast. Super fast. I don't even know anymore. You got to realize we had this tough route, right? But look at how much we're already above the previous high of this thing, at least the 52-week high. And look at this. It almost looks like some weird, ugly, like little tiny shoulder and a big ass, like awkward head, and then like another shoulder. So I don't know. Maybe that's the measured move for the cycle. That would get us in the 80s. Probably makes sense. But and then looking at Bitcoin. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I mean, again, we could trace back down to this fib, turn it into support, be a beautiful handle, be a real beautiful handle here before heading higher. And if this is the measured move right here from the bottom of the cup up here to the neckline, that's a good move. I'd take that move. Let's see. What would that look like? Let's just call it here. Let's turn it green because we don't want a measured move that's red. Let's just see what that looks like. Let's make it a little bit shorter too. Let's say that it's right about, we'll say it's here. Yeah, we'll say it's here. Okay, that wouldn't be a bad number to go to fairly soon. That wouldn't be bad at all. I'd take that. Anyway, we're going to jump around a little bit. I'm a little spazzy today, so had a lot of coffee and crashing computers, and then I got my music banned by YouTube, so I'm kind of pissed. Anyway. 1.37%, lowest inflation read yet on Trueflation. So not only did CPI get revised lower, but at the same time, we're seeing Trueflation indicate. You got to remember, the Fed is stupid. The Fed is delayed. The Fed's a bunch of old people, right? And when I say old people, I'm not talking about age-wise. I'm just saying that they're mentally old and they don't do new things because they're government. And so they're here. They're over here. They're in like this 2 to 3% range, right? They haven't seen this yet. This is real-time data coming from APIs all across the country in different sectors. So they're going to get here soon enough. By March, actually, which still, I've got a bet going with a few people. I still think we might get a rate reduction in March. We'll see. All right, let's look at other economic data. Inflation rate, month over month. I hate month over month numbers. Well, percentages, I should say. I don't hate this. Doesn't look high. Doesn't look high. Yeah, no, this is percentages month over month. I hate these charts. We're not even going to look at them. Screw it. Actual, hey, we got more oil rigs. That's good. That's good, right? Highest number of oil rigs. A little bit. Let me see here. What is our count? Not a ton. We need to fix that. We need more. All right, let's go back here. Nothing else really interested in the macro world. Let's look at commodity prices and see where we're sitting. Uranium. Are we still going up in uranium? My friend Derek's going to be really happy. Possibly not the Derek that's on here. My other friend, Derek. YouTube Derek. Let me see here. I'm just scanning to see if there's anything intriguing. I don't know if there is. Palladium's down. Does anybody care? Not really. All these, look at these electricity costs in Europe. Europe is in the pain train, man. Look at this, Spain. Now, don't get me wrong. These electrical costs were really high, right? And now they're down to like the median, but there's also a lot of slowing down. It's like in the UK and other parts of Europe, which is not great. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, do I want to go on a PayPal rant? Maybe. Let's see. Let's look at the chart. PayPal, yeah. So I bought like 55,000 in calls in stock yesterday when other people were running away from it. The options were down 56% at one point. And now today looks better. I'm going to say today's better. Let's sort this real quick. Hey, we got a little bit into the baby gap and closed above on the 4-hour and the 100. Or I'm sorry, the daily. So that's good. This is a good move. We're getting support above our first moving average. I love that. This gap shouldn't take long to fill. And the best thing about PayPal, so many gaps. It's like a collection of gaps. Getting to, that's why on the 4-hour, when people hadn't read the forward guidance on EPS for PayPal, they were so excited. And look at that. Just went right up. I remember a video of my friend Adam on Amit's channel. That was sad. They were both just cheering. And Amit is guilty of ringing that bell too soon. I feel like 50% of the time that Amit rings that bell, and I'm sorry, Amit, if you come on here, but 50% of the time, you right after you do that, it goes red. I don't know why that is, and I can't prove it. This is anecdotal evidence, but I do think that's real. But look at this. We went up to 70, and we'll do that again because we got gaps to fill. So we can get up to, let me go back here. We can get up to this 75 range really, really quick, 73 to 74. Fill that gap, get up to this next volume peak. I still think that stuff's coming soon. And so the people that are stuck around, the people that didn't get scared and run away, you're going to have an opportunity, I think, to recoup some losses and maybe make a bunch of money. Oh, that clip was great. I felt bad. Adam looked so sad. And they were so happy going into it. It was just really, it was a bummer. No, we haven't. We can look at some charts here in a second too. I'm going to just real quickly say, if you didn't look at this PayPal post I did the other day, please read it. PayPal has a lot of good things going on for it, and I think Alex Chris is doing a great job. I'm not going to go into a big tirade on this, but read it. They actually had a really great quarter, and now they're sandbagging for the rest of the year. And there's a reason this stock went back up today, and this is before the lockout period expires. So PayPal on Monday can start buying back their stock. And I can think of no better thing to do than to talk down your company, crush the stock price, and then buy it back. And they have authorization for up to $10.5 billion of stock buybacks on a $63 billion company. That's a lot. And they said they'll do at least 5. So it seems like that might be an opportunity. Yeah, poor Adam. Oh, yeah, you were? Oh, that's you? Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah, it was sad. That video, I was like, because I had my own moment like that, but it was a little more subdued. We weren't as excited when we were on a Future Invest channel. So it wasn't quite as bad, but it was still a bummer. My soul was crushed. I don't know. You might have been able to see it in my eyes. Anyway, Bitfarms. Bitfarms is a laggard. So like I said, they have earnings in March 20th. They haven't seen the benefits of this FASB reporting yet, but they're going to. So this is going to be exciting. And I'm sorry, airdrop. Airdrop is confirmed, as we're saying nowadays. For what? PayPal? Like a real one? Or like a bullshit one? What are you talking about, Derek? Derek is my friend, by the way. He's a good dude. I got a lot of good Dereks. All right, you keep talking in chat. So, yeah, so anyway, Bitfarms looks good. I think in short order, if people start to realize what's going on in these FASB rule changes with accounting, that they're going to realize oh, all these other miners are going to benefit from this too. Maybe, just maybe, we should be buying them. So I think it's just a matter of time before Bitfarms does what CleanSpark did. Now, don't get me wrong, CleanSpark is really heavy into expansion, but Bitfarms is going to grow a lot too. And they have a Bitcoin stack, which you have to have. If you're invested in a Bitcoin mining company that pre-halving has no Bitcoin and doesn't find value in holding Bitcoin, don't own them, because those people are idiots, in my opinion. So I don't get sued. Because why wouldn't you hold Bitcoin when it could go up 3.5 to 5x? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you have that a large balance sheet? That's one. I don't even like Mara. I think they're sketchy, but at least they're smart enough to have a huge Bitcoin stack. So is CleanSpark. So is Riot. Hut too, but we won't count them because they're a mess. So anyway, but with Bitfarm, you can see, again, I talked about this yesterday where we backtested off of the previous resistance line and then went above it. Now we're above the fib. We might grind here maybe for a minute, but I think there's a really good chance that this thing can run 39% too. Money sloshes around from these illiquid miners and just rotates back and forth. Jesse Coin, nice. It just rotates back and forth. And so, yeah, there's just so much money to be made. Derek's been around for a few cycles now. I don't know how many cycles you've been in. You're one more than me, Derek, I think. But so he knows how much money can be made in a short period of time. He knows what happens when you go from a liquid to liquid. It is a wealth generator. All right. Let me see. How's the rest of the crypto world doing? Let's see Solana. Yeah, that looks tight. Again, Solana didn't even take a break. Such a beautiful chart. It didn't even like push up against the first fib extension. It just blasted right through it, went up to the .382, then back tested, and now it's just screaming that it wants to go higher. I would say if we get stability in Bitcoin's price, you could totally see this thing go to 123 very, very quick, and then go back up and test, the 260 to 300 range really quickly. As crazy as that sounds. So, yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one to own. I think I got like 50K in this one. Let me do something else. I want to pull up the rest of the shit coins here. Let's look at them. Pretty little shit coins. Look at those. Except for XMR. Don't own that trash. All right. Ooh, Optimism. I own that one. That's up. Oh, sweet. So Zarb. So let's see. My little shitcoin portfolio made about 9 grand today. So up about 10% on average. That's cool. Again, there's probably, I don't know. Might have to get my friend Derek on here. He knows more about the altcoins nowadays than I do. So maybe we'll have to do that sometime. But and I'll probably disclose what my portfolio is. I tried to stick with the top ones. So like Solana, Atom, Optimism, Arbitrum, like all the injective, like all the basics. Say, I didn't get SUI, and I tried to stick with ones that were on Coinbase because I was lazy and I don't want to have a bunch of exchanges under control of foreign governments, or worse, shut off by the United States. Thoughts on Enphase? Thoughts on Enphase? Do I have thoughts on Enphase? Let me see. Where is it at? Ah, it went up again, huh? Cool. That must be nice. All right. I think everything is doing well right now. I think from a macro perspective, this is testing resistance right up here. You can see the previous trend. But it's trying to get above it, and it's above peak volumes. So, I mean, it looks pretty good here. I do think that even these rate-sensitive ones, how'd Tesla do? Up 2%. Yeah, so the rate-sensitive companies are starting to come to the realization, I think, that they're going to get lower rates in the future. I think there's this tug of war of perfect information from an economic standpoint where everybody feels happy about what's happening. If you're in the camp where you think that, inflation is dropping, you think the money printer is going to start going burr and they're going to lower rates, and that looks good. And if you're like whatever camp you're in, everything looks good from an economic standpoint. All the data looks really good. Now that could change in the future, but right now I don't see it. I don't see anything slowing down. I don't see any worries with it. And so I think companies like Enphase, if this is real and we're looking at market breadth expansion, and if we look back over here at this, it looks like it's the big caps and some small. But when you look at the Russell, the 2000, like we're actually getting a good bounce. And so if this is real market breadth expansion, then this beautiful retest we did off of previous resistance and turning it into support and then getting ready to break through the .236 here on the Russell, I mean, this thing could run. This hasn't hit new highs yet when all these other indices have. Just had a new high in NASDAQ and S&P today, and this is overdue. So if we're looking at market breadth expansion and indices like this, everything is going to go higher. Everything. And this is perfect timing, right? You look at this, and this is the Bitcoin cycle. Oh, Hood. I can pull up Hood. But you got the Bitcoin cycle getting ready to take off. And then at the same time, you have global liquidity being high. And then you have talk of rates going down, which the rates neutered the last Bitcoin cycle. So if the rates are going down this time, we could actually look at them going up and doing really well. And so like all these markets and everything, the stars, I literally, if you would have asked me a year ago, like, what do you think it's going to be a year from now? I knew that for short term that we were going to make a bunch of money because of global liquidity. And I knew that inflation, the whole narrative about inflation being high forever was like stupid. And that I could see it was going down with trueflation. So I knew it was going to be good. And I made a bunch of money in that time, the first half of last year. But if you would have ever asked me, will it look as good as it does right now? I would have never believed you. I would have never believed you. And there's so many people that are that way right now. And they, unlike me, didn't lean into this and make a bunch of money. They've been sidelined for over a year, 2 years really, because some of these people were short for 2022 and then they didn't go long in 2023. And now they're looking at the threat of having everything go up again in 2024. And these people are pissed and they're tired of not making money. And so I think it's very possible that we'll see a large influx of capital into markets with all the election and all the money printing and the rates coming down and the housing market reigniting and the auto sector starting to reignite again from lower rates and just everything is set to pop. And so I've still got hedges. I think I got like 55,000 in hedges between shorting Best Buy and Starbucks, but man, I think it's all gone. I think it's going to disappear. And I think we'll end up going up and I won't even care. Those will turn to dust and I will be happy for it. So anyway, I'm not sure what my rant was about, but let's look at Hood real quick and then we'll start looking at some other charts. And I'll take a break from just telling you how great everything is going to be, even though I think it will be. All right, so we've tested support right on the fib here perfectly. If you look at this weekly candle on Hood, we tested it, found support, launched. This is beautiful. Let's see what the daily looks like. We're above all moving averages, the 50, 100, and 200. That's great. I can't hate that. And now we're just going to test to the .618. If you look, we've been above this 3 times recently, right, in the last 2 years. If we test above that and establish support above that, it's game on. It's game on for Hood. Now, there are some concerns. Earnings are going to be coming up, okay? Now, there's some stuff you need to be aware of. IRA transfers for Hood, they've been giving 1 to 3% for whatever you transfer over. It's a super smart move long-term, guys. It's brilliant because with this, they're locking in IRAs. People never transfer their retirement accounts. They just don't. You leave them in the same place forever because you don't want to screw with it. The only time you do is like you got fired or quit a job and you're like, crap, I should change out that 401k and turn it into an IRA or move it away from my employer. That's like the only time people do this stuff. And so they're capturing accounts that they're requiring to stay with them for 5 years if they want to keep the 1 to 3% match they're giving them. They have to stay with them for 5 years to keep that. Otherwise, they lose it. And they're requiring, if they get the 3% match, it comes with having to have gold membership for a year. And they're talking about raising those prices. So they'll take a hit this quarter in regard to payouts that they're giving to be able to acquire all these balances. But over the long term, all the transfer fees, all that float sitting in there, the money that they're going to make from these IRA transfers is brilliant. These guys are making brilliant moves. They got a credit card that's going to be coming out. They got the transfers. They got the European market that they were opening up into this last quarter. We don't even know how well that's went. We're going to find out this quarter. So there's going to be some weird crosswinds where they could have headwinds, which all that means is bad stuff, pushing them down and keeping them from moving forward because of the fact that they are paying out a large amount for these IRA accounts. But then they're going to have some awesome tailwinds too. So I like the setup. If this one drops, I'm going to pull a PayPal here and I'm going to buy the shib out of it and pick up as much as I can on my calls. I might go 2026. Who knows? Maybe I'll get stock and then go into calls if it keeps dropping. But and here's the thing: if they do well on top of all those IRA transfers and being vastly oversubscribed to that, then it's going to get crazy. And these guys, it's a nice company, man. Let me just pull them up real quick, and then we'll go on to another one. Now, monthly active users just went down, but again, they didn't care about the GameStop crew. They didn't want to keep all the crypto people. They weren't focused on that anymore. They were trying to pull in people that have large amounts of assets, and they were trying to work on product enhancements. And there's so many product enhancements. It's nuts. But assets under custody was up. Net income has been trending up for 2 years. Cash is strong. Debt is low. Revenue segments look good. Average user balance was climbing. Their crypto exposure is just all this money going up is going to just make them look awesome. So this is all good. And the cash sweep revenues, that's basically the money they're making off all the cash they're holding from their gold subscribers, which are down here, right? This is just a great company. This looks wonderful. Their net deposits are going to go up a lot. Anyway, what else we got? What else are we looking at? Members get priority. What do you guys want? Have you looked into ICP? Yeah. I don't know what the chat thinks, but how's the mobile app? The mobile app for Hood is one of the shining stars of it. It's amazing. It's probably the best mobile app in investing, in my opinion. ICP, these guys came out of the gate with an incredibly high valuation, and all their crypto did was just get crushed. I don't know enough about what they've done recently, if they've really got anything going on. All the buzz I'm hearing right now is like Solana, and then like Atom or Cosmos, and still Ethereum layer 2s and some other stuff. But I'm not hearing a lot. I'm not hearing a lot about ICP. I don't know if anybody else is. ICP has upside, but are they good? Are they interesting? That's my question, Derek. We gotta get Derek. Derek's got a wonderful beard. That image that he has in his profile is no joke. The real life version is just as sexy. I'm gonna say that. All right, let's see here. DM. I don't know what that is. What is DM? Tell me what DM is. Ether. You never chat about it in the crypto section. Oh, I'm sorry. I do like Ethereum. I think that there's awesome mechanics behind it from a tokenomics perspective. Ooh, and it's getting better. Damn. Let me zoom out. Okay, so we should talk about Ethereum. Let's talk about it real quick. So the thing I like about Ethereum is they switched to proof of stake years ago, and then they also turned on the burn, I think, before that. And so they're burning crypto based upon how congested the network gets. They burn some of their existing stash. And then at the same time, they're using proof of stake, which does a lot lower of a payout than back in the days when I was mining Bitcoin or mining Ethereum along with Derek. He was doing it too. The payouts are so much lower for proof of stake, and there's so much less overhead. So one sec, I'll check out some of these others, guys. One sec. But so now you have a deflationary asset, one whereas Bitcoin is like a little less than 1% after the halving event in April. It'll go from about 1.8, 1.9% down to like 0.95% for its inflation rate. This is actually negative, burning by about, I don't know, here, let me see. I got to sort the time frames here. Since the merge, burning by about 0.21%. So that's actually pretty good tokenomics. Now, the network has high fees and a bunch of issues, right? Like, you got to be on layer 2 if you're going to do anything. Otherwise, it's just costly and stupid. But the tokenomics are fascinating to me. So I still have Ethereum, but I do think that Solana could outperform and maybe get like a 15x. But Ethereum is still something I'm holding on to. Um, Let me see here. Do you think the economy accelerates because I think AI is overhyped right now? Not that there's not fundamentals to it. There's huge fundamentals. The picks and shovels guys, I think this is the same thought process that me Kevin has. The picks and shovel guys like Nvidia and the SMCIs and all these chip makers, they're getting rich. There's no hype in that sector. They're getting rich. They've got massive demand, and I think that continues for a while. And then I think that there's companies like Palantir that have real AI, like Tesla that have real AI. Nobody gives a shit about that right now with Tesla, but but they do, and they're cutting edge. And I think Tesla's actually the best AI company in the world right now. Even though I'm sure a bunch of people would argue with that, I think they're wrong. But their AI will be huge in the future. It will be huge in the future. Everybody's going to be using it. People are getting benefits from Palantir. Tesla will have self-driving cars, and the change and transformations, even just mid journey, like my wife's doing all these animations and like making these screensaver things where the water moves and the leaves shake in the wind, and she's generating music, and she can post this stuff on YouTube and make money. It's just a wild time where you can do so much from like a marketing standpoint. If you're a marketer, you could have go from having a team to having one person who's creative and knows how to use these tools. Like there is real world AI application, and it's going to be awesome, but at the same time it's also overhyped. Yeah, James loves Soul. That is his baby. He's the one that got me into it. But he's looking at it from he's look and so he's got a point. He's looking at it from it's got higher throughput, much lower fees, and its adoption is going exponential because all the companies that want to build don't want they want to have cheap fees, and they want to have something that works and is quick and that can scale fast and that's easy to build off of from a software perspective. And it's all those things. Now it's super centralized, and you can have periods where it goes down for half a day. So that kind of sucks, right? Like it's not Bitcoin, but from the developmental perspective, it's beneficial, and so that's why Solana, I think, is being treated a lot better. But again, the tokenomics greed will kick in for Ethereum holders too. People love making money and having deflation, and the fact that this is starting to pick up and burn down more. And there's going to be a narrative coming soon. I think the second half of this year to third quarter, we're going to start talking about Ethereum ETFs, and I think they're going to get approved from everything that I'm looking at. So when there's going to be that narrative, and who knows, it could run up until that and then dump just like Bitcoin did when you're getting interest in it. So I think I don't know. I like diversification. You know me. I like to be diversified and make money from different things, and that way, like when PayPal was down, all my miners were up, and now my miners are up even more, and I could even sell some of that if I wanted to. I'm not ready to, but I could, and I could buy other things that are down. So I love diversification. I think it's awesome. All right. All right. MJ stocks. MJ. I don't know what MJ is. Can you tell me what MJ is? Besides Michael Jackson, what are we talking about? What is MJ? Please. I'll just pull. I'll see if I can find a ticker called MJ. Oh, make a weed. Oh, is that the actual ticker? I mean, I don't think weed stocks do well. Alternative Harvest ETF. So it's like a marijuana ETF. Gotcha. Um, I think this is a shitty sector to be in. I think there's a lot of people that love weed, but the problem with it is they like every business tried to get into this, and it's becoming more abundant as it becomes legalized. And like this is good support though from a technical level. This is good support. I haven't been following Tilray or any of those other things well enough to tell you which ones are good. And this is a broad-based ETF. What is MSOS and MSOX? Are those weed stocks too, or weed funds or something? But yeah, so this might play out okay. This isn't my area of expertise. What do you think about Path? If I remember correctly, I hate Path. I think it's garbage, but I could be wrong. So let's just pull it up. Path. It's went up. The stock has went up. Love that. Let's look at their fundamentals. All right, the revenue is going up. They're still burning money. They've got a lot of cash though. Operating expenses aren't bad. Cash flow is starting to drop. Growth rate 24% year over year. What makes these guys special? It looks like their operating leverage and their expenses, like they're not scaling well. I would love to see revenue going up while their operating expenses or OPEX goes down. Like look at Tesla. Look at Tesla, man. This is like such a great company from a financial standpoint. Like this is what you want your OPEX to do. You want your revenue to go up and have your expenses be where they were in 2019. This is a good company, right? Their gross profits are going up. Their cash is going up while their debt is maintaining. Vehicle deliveries are going up. They've got growth in all these other segments with energy and stuff. Like this is the kind of stuff you want to see. UiPath, I don't know enough about the company and the fundamentals to be able to guide you there, but it doesn't look super great from just looking at this. And then if I look back here, the only thing I like about this from a technical standpoint, first off, I don't like the fact that it's already run. I don't love that. If it was back over here in the 17 range, then I'd be more excited about it. But we're on the weekly, we're at peak RSI, and we've got bearish divergence here where it's basically leaning down, where this thing's going up. So I don't love that. Just like Palantir, I was warning people yesterday that Palantir had peaked. I don't know how many actually listened to me. The people that did moved into other stuff, and I think they were making money. Hopefully they were buying CleanSpark from that video that I shot out the other day. But you could see I didn't change this, right? I might not have it perfectly drawn, but I said, hey, guys, we're at peak resistance here. And you can see this super easily if we just do this. Look at this. Peak volume profile. Not just that. So we had that, and then we topped out yesterday, and that's where I started my line on the 4 hour. But we had peak volume, and then today it couldn't get above it, and then it just started crashing back down. And it's going to go further. It could go a decent amount further. It could go technically down to like the 21 or even the $20 range. It could even go down to close this daily gap at the 1785 range. So it sucks to me that people ignore technicals. The fundamentals of this company are great. They did a great job, okay? Great quarter. Love the company. But when you have a $53 billion market cap and your net income, what was their net income? It was 93 million. So they have a $53 billion market cap. Net income is 93 million. But at the same time, PayPal is 63 billion, so it's 10 billion more, right? And they booked 1.4 billion net income. Quick look at DM, please. Okay. I can take a look at that. Probably won't do it on screen. 1 second here. But yeah, so like I don't know. You got Palantir that's got tens of millions of dollars coming in net income per quarter, and I'm looking at that DM. 1 second, and then at the same time, you have PayPal, which is 80+% off its high, just a little bit higher of a market cap, and they're netting up $1.4 billion, and they sandbagged. Hey, AGI, what is your user in X? I'm assuming you're meaning X DMs, right? I got a ton of messages, man. I get so many now. You might have to tell me. But yeah, so if I had to pick UiPath or Palantir or whatever versus a company like PayPal, that's where I'd be putting my money is in PayPal. All right, Adobe. Shardy B is in that MSOS. I like Shardy. She's a sweetie. She's giving me a few shout outs. All right, let me see real quick here. I'll take a look at that actually. What's that? MSOS. I'll add this to my list so I have it for next time. Yeah, and I'm trying to add all these and save them so that I don't have to open them each time. That way in the future when we go through charts, we'll be able to do that pretty easily. Oh, I can see why Charlie likes it. Yeah, I can see why Charlie likes this one. Um, it's got a nice volume shelf underneath of it. I don't know enough about the fundamentals of this one. I'd have to do some deeper dives here. Again, it's like the marijuana thing. Here's the only problem I have with the marijuana. It's speculative. Cool. That ticks off a box, right? It's already had a massive drop. That's good. So you know you're starting with a low base. You know you went down. Holy crap. You know you went down 92% while the sector got crushed. That is just such a bad number. Hopefully there was a lot of businesses destroyed so that there's less competition and the pricing is better. But yeah, so this thing went down 92%. And so you're still down almost 83. I like that part, but the question is, are they still highly competitive areas? And if we do, like let's say Biden wants to get some votes, not trying to be political, but let's say that wants to get some votes and so he legalizes marijuana. Like what does that look like? What kind of mess is that? It might be short term a way to make a bunch of money. Like there'd be extra demand. But we already have legalization in a lot of states in America too. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if this is a good sector to be in. I can do some digging, but I don't know. I think it's more I think it's more hype than anything right now, but I don't know. And I don't know if Shardy's doing anything off of fundamentals. I know she's big into charts, but I don't know if she's doing anything fundamentally. AGI desktop metal. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, DM. I'm retarded. Okay. Give me a sec, dude. Pulling it up. Make a copy. Gotta get better at this chat. Desktop metal. Okay. Woo. Wow. Wow. That's a woof. That's a brutal chart. What happened here? It's a penny stock. Do I think Bitcoin funding rates are looking good right now? So the shorts are paying the longs. I haven't looked today to see if that's changed. This stock has been butchered. They've missed so many things. Oh, they're just burning through money. One sec. Yeah, so I'm going to be different than a lot of other people. When I look at stocks, I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, that chart looks cool. And what was that called? Something metal? Desktop. I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, this looks great because it's got some squiggly lines. I've got to know something about the fundamentals. Otherwise, I'm not giving you good information. I'm just giving you a small piece of the picture and it could suck, right? I could be completely wrong. So I hate this cash burn right here. That sucks. Their revenues are flat and going down. Their net income, they're burning 46 million a quarter, and they only have 107 million and some bonds. So if these guys aren't printing a large amount of shares, they're going to fall apart. I don't know what they do. I'm guessing something with the desktop and something with some metal. But I don't like it, and I can see why the short interest is 33%. Institutional ownership, sometimes you'd think would be higher, but again, I don't know. I don't know enough about these guys, but I do not love this. This looks like just crap. Just looking at it. Let's see if there's anything else here. Yeah, again, you can't be burning money and have people go and invest in you. Now don't get me wrong, if they have a quarter where revenues are picking up, 3D printing, if revenues are picking up and all of a sudden they go net income positive because they have been lowering operating expenses, I like that, but their revenue is flat and they're still burning money. They've got like a baby little increase here where they're doing better, but it's like a couple million a quarter and they don't have enough cash to survive. So this is one of these companies where you got to make sure that they can actually survive. Okay, that's enough about that. Let's see who's up next. Arm shop. I'll do shop next. I'll save this. I'm gonna save this ticker though. We're gonna save that for you, and then we will make a copy and do shop and Shopify. I know my buddy Tanner loves this one. It's one of his babies. This is new. He loves new. And Shopify is cool, man. It's like Amazon, but for smaller companies, and I dig that. I dig that they're giving. Wow, it's done really well. Looks like it could go higher. I mean, even though it's just maxed out on the RSI, it has been. There is some divergence to the downside. Let me see what they're. I'm on 3 days. So let's get on a better chart. Oh wow, that's cool. So they pushed up hard against the 200 moving average in dark orange, and now it's starting to launch. There's not a lot of volume up here. I think this thing could go higher. Here, let me do a proper, since I might want to look at this again in the future. Let me do a proper like eval here. Where do I want to start? March of 2020. That's this place. Let me do a fib extension here so we can see kind of what we're looking at. So we're going to go off the March of 2020 low because that's the most recent major cycle low outside of the one that just happened here in 2022. So we draw it at the top, draw it at the bottom. This is kind of close. Oh, we're hitting a fib though. This will be interesting to see if we can break above this. If we got above 93 and started and like that would be a pretty good, and we grinded above that at all or established support. We're up there for a little bit. I'd be excited and think that this thing was probably going to go higher and hit the next fib, which is 134. So that's a good number. If we can get above 93, then we're looking at 136, 135, right around there. Let me make sure I save this. I'll save this, and then Rivian. I bought Rivian a while ago. Let me see real quickly. Let me pull them up super fast. I think I have them in here. Yeah, I'm going to try and build out my charts better too and then save them. You're welcome, AGI. Okay, so yeah, this thing, I bought this just because it had been destroyed. I can't even do a fib extension off of this because there's just nothing to extend off of. It's trash. But I like the fact that we took peak volumes and are now launching above it. I got a feeling my calls are going to do really good. I do want to see, from a financial standpoint, I don't love this company, and that's why they're so cheap. But there's the R2 is coming out soon, and it's kind of a rebuild and should help bring down costs. It's kind of like a Model 3 moment for Rivian. And if they're able to drop costs and get a little more like Tesla, I don't know if they can be Tesla, but people love their trucks. They've got a base there. And they're the only other EV company in this country that stands a chance, in my opinion. And I've been shitting on this company for a long time, but they have an Amazon relationship, and I think that can bring them through. I think Amazon and Bezos will pull these guys through. So they're bleeding a lot. What I'd like to see in this next quarter is this burn on net income better. Their revenues keep going up. They're selling more. That's great. Their operating expenses haven't really went up a lot. That's cool. Their cash flow is starting to trend up a little bit, but they don't have a lot of cash either, just like I was talking about. Right now, they have $8 billion in cash and about $1.2 billion in bonds. That's good, since let's say that they burn, from what I understand, they're going to burn less than Q3 of 2023. So maybe they only burn $1 billion this quarter. That's still a huge number. But they still have a couple of years worth of runway left to ramp. And they could always issue more shares, dilution, that will lower the stock price. But if they here's the core thing that matters with companies like this. Are they growing? Are they lowering the price of COGS, which is basically the pieces and components? And do they look like they're going to get across the event horizon to profitability? That's what people want to see. And I think Rivian is one. I've only got like 9 or 10,000 in it in their calls, and they're like 2026 ones. But Rivian is a multi-bagger. If this thing does well, and I might have a separate video on Rivian where I pull up the options and show all that stuff, so I'm not boring people right now. But this could be okay. This could be something interesting, and I like it. All right. Shop is how I got started. Bought them. Yeah, Shop has done nice, man. Congrats, dude. That's really cool. Curious on your Celsius options considerations. You took a look at the charts before, and I like the chart a lot. Celsius, you're talking about the drink, right? Bro. Let's look here. Celsius. I know this thing is super popular. I still haven't had one. I'm just so not cool. Let me see here. Celsius. What's the ticker on this one? Is that Celsius Holdings? Okay, yeah. I remember this now. Yeah, that chart looks good. That chart looks great, actually. It looks like they're ready to go higher. And I don't know if I looked at the fundamentals on this one, though. I'm just kind of curious. Nice. This is so Tesla, just like consistent growth in revenue. They're issuing more and more shares all the time, but they've got a huge cash position. I mean, not huge, 760 million, but they're net positive. Look at this. They're growing their net income. God, that looks good. I don't know if this is going to have good options. I can take a look offline here and check that out. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I'll take a look at the options chain for it and see if it's interesting. Their operating expenses, they seem to they like the numbers look good on this. These guys are doing good. I don't know, is the drink actually any good? Because if it's good, gives you energy, doesn't kill you or cause cancer, then this thing might. I mean, the chart, like all the fundamentals look great, and the chart looks gorgeous. But again, this probably isn't a new trade, right? I want to be clear on that. I like options when you're doing one of two things. A, your favorite stock that you own a bunch of has went up too much and it's not going to go up anymore. Let's call it Palantir. This fictional stock will be called Palantir. And it went up to $25 and this really smart TA guy told you sell it or get out of it, just trim a little bit because it's going to start going down. I would listen to that person and I would pull up the option tree and I would look for covered calls where essentially you go a little bit higher than that and the $25 target for Palantir, and instead you set something higher, do a covered call, and you get paid a premium every month for all the time that it doesn't cross that. And like Palantir could be sitting there for months, unless they get S&P inclusion, and so you could make money off of that. And then you know what you do with the money? You buy Palantir stock. So that's a time where you use options. You also use it when it's incredibly oversold and it's PayPal and that they're paying you 10 to 20x. Well, I should say 4 to 20x if it starts to launch at all. If PayPal goes up 87%, I make $2.4 million if it happens in 3 months. So it's stupid. Like you make so much money. That's another good time. And then if you're shorting it, which means it's just went up like crazy and you know for some reason that this thing's going to go down. Like those are the 3 times I really touch options, but I don't go long. My whole point here, and this is a long way to get to it, I don't go long on something that looks like this with options. I don't do that. It's the best way to get wrecked. Now, would I have gone long on March of 2020? I don't know. What were the financials like then? Probably not. It looks like it probably would have sucked, but I don't know. Maybe there was a trigger or something, but this would have been the time to do it. Down here at $1.30 would have been the time to go long a couple years out with call options for this thing. I don't think it's smart to do it when it's up 50x. That's just me because there's so many people thinking the same thing. All right, TLT. TLT will do good once they realize that rates are coming down. TLT, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with TLT. So there'll be this like swishing back and forth between stocks and bonds where some people, older people, let's call them boomers, they will purchase bonds, ones that don't know what Bitcoin is or they're scared of it, and maybe maybe their financial advisors tell them to put like 2% in Bitcoin. They do that. But they'll also buy bonds too, and they'll lock them in for 10, 20 years, whatever, once rates start to come down because they'll know that those guaranteed rates, and if they want income, like these guys, some of these guys just want income too, and this is a way for them to generate it. So they'll start to lock into bonds, and that's when you see like TLT going up in some of the 20-year bond. That's when you'll start to see those doing well. And by going up, I mean rate going down and then the value going up significantly because TLT has been destroyed. The bond market had the worst rout in several hundred years, which is a long time. I mean, I think the rout in the bond market was so bad that it was like the worst rout since the 1700s. And I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are historians, but that's very close to when we were founded as a country. So that's not great. But I'd say that bonds, the TLT, once we start to lower, I'm going to use that as cash, right? So I'll buy the TLT and I'll use it as a source of funds. And all that means is I will collect little dividend payments on every share that I own of TLT, because again, it's got that rate, right? Whatever the 20-year rate is. So you collect your dividends while it goes up in value. And so I would take, as I make money, like really good asymmetric returns off of other stuff, I would sell some of it, and instead of putting it in cash, I would dump it into TLT, because I think it's very easy for us to get a quick 30%. And just look at how much we went up here, but a quick 30% in like a year or less, because look at where we were and where we are now in the bond market. There has to be some faith restored that we're not going to be printing a ton, though. So maybe it's a little bit slower, but I like cash that makes me money. So I would get into this, because again, why hold cash in your portfolio unless you're in Robinhood and you're getting like 5+%? Why hold it in just a regular, like my account, what my main and ally? Why hold that? $5. Okay. How is the money market funds account increasing yet again? But we are running a new all-time high in the SPY. Oh man, it's just the market that we're in. It's the part of the market cycle. We're in a risk-on environment. We could stay we could stay inverted for a while longer, just based upon the way the conditions are right now. So it's called a melt up. It's like the perfect conditions for a melt up. It's where you have increasing liquidity all around the world. At the same time, you have tightening, loosening, and you have no threats of inflation because China's exporting it to the world. And so we're going to continue to get cheap goods while they suffer dramatically. And that sucks for them. Hopefully we don't go to war. But like, the economic environment we're in is good here because we printed 40% of the money supply. There's still so much money out there. This is something that people just don't realize or comprehend, I guess. We printed 40% of the money that's ever existed in this country since the pandemic. And so there's tons of money out there. And then you have people who own real estate. Their real estate is still 35 to 40% higher in value than it was from the pandemic. Again, that money printing went into real estate, right? It went into real estate and a bunch of other stuff. And then a bunch of it's been sitting in cash for a long time and sitting in money markets, trillions of dollars. But that will change. Once rates start to go down, people will flood that money out. And this is in the next couple of months, into other things so that they can get yield. And if they're safe, they'll put it into bonds. And if they're not looking for the safe route because they find out their friends just made 40% on CleanSpark, they're going to be like, I should really give that Bitcoin a chance. My financial advisor was talking about it. They're BlackRock, and they're very smart, and they know how to do things with money. And so they'll start to funnel it in, and then there'll be the meme stockers that like buy the GMEs and all that stuff, the roaring kitty crowd. They'll funnel into those. And so you're going to see this just massive liquidity flush. And there's this weird cycle where when the bonds are going down and those are rates, it's going to be a melt up. It's like there's this downward spiral you can get if inflation is really bad and people stop spending money, then people get fired from their jobs because the revenues weren't high enough. And if the revenues weren't high enough and those people get fired from their jobs, then they impact other businesses because they can't spend because they're just trying to survive and make enough money to be able to just feed themselves and their family and take care of basic needs. And so then other companies have to fire people. And then when they fire people, those people don't have as much money. And it just creates recessions and depressions and high unemployment. We're like the opposite of that right now. We're in an upward spiral. And it could get crazy. Would you buy calls? Nah, it's so difficult. You can't buy calls on TLT because bonds time frames are so long. They're not fast moving vehicles, and I wouldn't touch it. Coin, please. Yeah, we can do that. Now that I'm done with my little diatribe, let's get some coin. Coin's probably going to look good, I'm imagining. What time is it? 4:30. Oh, okay, a little over an hour. I'm going to try and increase my stamina each time I do this, so the people that want to stick around, I can keep going and help them out and get their charts up. All right, let's see here. That is not coin. That is hood. All right, let's make sure I save this. Wow, coin has done really good, hasn't it? It's really recovered nicely. Let's go here. You know what? I can't even do that. There has been no major. I got to do this. I got to do this. So we got to use a fib retracement. That's all we got, really. All right, that's cool. That's a good looking chart. Couple things to note. You can see where we broke above highest volume and then went back down. Didn't even test it. We were so strong because of this little volume cliff here. We just went up and then we completely broke through the .236. Didn't even give it a second thought. This reminds me of a lot of the miners. And then broke down and then grinded and then found support and are curling up. And so I think 182 target is coming soon. And depending upon the velocity of it, maybe it can even go higher. But we probably have it. I mean, again, this is going to follow Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does is what this thing's going to do. This will just be an order of magnitude greater. I shouldn't say an order of magnitude, like maybe a 2x Bitcoin. You got to remember, this thing's got a $34 billion market cap. So this thing is a little bit like PayPal's twice the size of it. I'm sorry, I keep comparing things to it. But it's twice the size of market cap. And these guys, their net income was negative $2.27 million. Now, their net income will go higher. These guys do well, just like Hood, when the crypto markets open up. SMCI covered call. I should look up SMCI. That thing's nuts. That's probably a good one to do one on. But this thing will do good when the Bitcoin cycle goes up, even more so than Hood, right? Because these guys are the controlling share of almost all the ETFs. So like almost all of them use Coinbase now for custody. They're going to make a ton in fees. So I think there's a great opportunity here. But again, I just want to reiterate, they were burning cash for a long time and they're not even making a high net income at all right now. And PayPal's making 1.4 billion a quarter. These guys are losing 2 million. And they're like 55% of the market cap of PayPal. So I don't know. They got some room to. They got some stuff to prove. You're the man. Thank you, Lauren. Let's see who's up next. General question. SMCI. SMCI is one I want to check. I'm gonna make a copy. Actually, let me make sure I save this one. I do want to see what that looks like. This is probably good for me, anyways. Just getting more familiar with these charts, because I think our community, together we can find opportunities. It's hard for me to do it all. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I'm just saying that, like, it's hard for me to look at a ton of stuff. I'm looking at macro. I'm looking at fundamentals. I'm looking at TA. I'm trying to be a human being and live a life, right? So it's hard to know about everything. But as a community, we can do that. We can figure out, where opportunities lie, and I can quickly look at things, and you guys might be able to turn me on to stuff that I wasn't looking at. So I really think this is going to be fun. Holy shit. Excuse my French. Jesus Christ, this thing is insane. Here's the deal, guys. I don't know if we're going to go a lot higher. I probably will monitor this. The divergence here, we've got divergence in the RSI. We don't have divergence in the MACD, but on the weekly time frame, on the monthly, this thing, oh my God, dude, this is just insane. Their net income is what? So $300 million. So these guys made about 1/3 to 1/4 of what PayPal made, and their market cap is 41 billion, and their stock has shot up. What the? We're going to be reaching critical zones here. This thing is going to roll over. We've got bearish divergence on the monthly, and yet look at what it has done over that time. Man, you could cover call this thing. I don't know what your top target would be, but it's going to reach its limits. I don't know what their growth and forecasting are. I got to look at this. This is insane. I know people have been talking about how crazy this is, but just that chart is a parabola. That is a parabolic move. And those are good ones to short, or like you said, a covered call. You might make so much an income off a covered call that I don't know, man. You could just be buying that thing all the way down. Their net income went up a lot, right? Like these are great numbers, 100% year-over-year revenue growth. Price to free cash looks good. Operating expenses are going up. Cash, though, is going up a lot. Shares outstanding are still going up. I don't love that. They're diluting their shares, and people are buying them in mass. That's crazy. Um, Again, it's a good-looking chart, but picks and shovels have been winning. I was talking about this earlier. These chip companies have been winning. That is going to stop soon, I think. I think in the next couple of months, as rates go down, the money will flood out of these. Flood out of these, especially something like this. This is way worse than NVIDIA. NVIDIA's numbers look better than this. Let me just pull up NVIDIA. This is crazy. This is just a crazy chart. I can't believe. Yeah, see, look at the revenue growth for NVIDIA. Look at that. Look at the net income growth for NVIDIA. This one makes sense. Well, I won't say it makes sense, but it's way more justified when you have profit growth of 1,274% in a year, revenue growth of 206, double what we were looking at on that. There's so much green on the screen, it hurts my eyes. And we know with NVIDIA that they've got over, this is visualstocks.com. Visual with a Z instead of an S on the visual. It's my friend Alejandro. He's on X. This is great, dude. I don't use anything else. I love this app. I paid for it, but I don't even know what I get for paying for it. It's only $10 a month. There's a free version of it too. You guys should use this. He is such a cool dude. He has made so many enhancements to this thing. It's just great. I'll probably do a tutorial on this in the future. There's so much to it. And it's not just this. Like, look down here. You can see institutional ownership. You can see share short. You can see the short percentage. You can get to the website. You can get to news. You can see institutional ownership. And then you can see key charts. You can make your own charts with a chart engine that he has in this. Alejandro is a stud, and I love him. Look at the estimates over here, too. You can see the estimates. And again, this is where I will argue that, okay, the estimates are petering off for this company. They're starting to flatten out from the parabolic growth. So, and I think SMCI is going to be the same way. But yeah, let me go back to that one. So NVIDIA looks more justified for an increase, right? That one looks pretty crazy, but it's probably topping too. This one, again, this is a good increase, but it's just not enough for this valuation. Is just so high. And then these guys are pulling in 30% of the net income of PayPal, the dying company that everybody's afraid of. That's about the same market cap as this. Whatever. What is this graph? Visualstocks.com. Let me plug it in here. Keep forgetting I can do that. That's my buddy Alejandro's website. I love it. I love it. You can use it for free. And again, you can do the paid version. Baba, I don't like Baba, man. Doug. Here's the deal. I will pull it up for you, but you're going to find out something about me real quick. I don't like Chinese stocks. And here's the thing. I love Chinese people. I don't like the CCP. I don't like a country that enslaves millions of Muslims. I don't like a country that is brutal and oppressive towards their people. I don't like a country that's running away from capitalism while destroying their own economy. And so I will not pull up Chinese stocks. It's my prerogative, and I'll do what I want to do, which is a great song. So I won't talk about Baba. I'm sorry. Anybody who's looking for Chinese stocks, there's so many YouTubers and social media influencers that will dish up that crap for you. Go to them. Twilio. Let me pull that up. Make a copy. Oh, let me save this. Gotta save these. I don't want to do this again. But yeah, I'm gonna check out SMCI more. I don't hate that covered call idea. We just need to figure out when this thing is topping out, man, because that's fascinating to me. That is really freaking nuts. I think the picks and shovels are coming to an end. I don't know if I finished my thought well, but people are gonna market breadth will increase. Everybody's gonna rush into the Russell Index. They're gonna rush. They're gonna rush into these because there are liquid markets where they can make a fortune from upside. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. I won't ban you this time. But all right. So let me see here. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think everybody's going to rush into smaller caps, and I think they'll exit these big ones that they've made all this money off of. Why would you sit in Nvidia? Why would you sit again? I love Palantir. I love the company, and I think their growth is going to be awesome. S&P inclusion might get them really high, but their PE ratio is 270 or something like that. It's a huge number. It's stupid. Even forward PE isn't that great. They're overvalued. And Nvidia and SMCI and all these others are worse. And all the big caps are like in the trillions and trillions of dollars. You got to understand, quick tirade, and then we'll pull this up. You got to understand the law of large numbers. If a company is a $2 trillion company, do you think it's going to 4X? No, it's not. CleanSpark will. It could do it this year. But that's not going to happen to Microsoft. That's not going to happen to Google. That's not going to happen to Apple. That's not going to happen to Meta. I love Meta. I made a lot of money off of Meta last year. I should have held on to my calls. I would have made a lot more. But it doesn't mean Meta is a good deal right now when it's up 500%. Okay? Time to trim. Time to do some covered calls. Time to move on to some other stuff and make more money. And that's what people are going to be thinking. They're going to be looking for market breadth. They're going to be rushing to find more money. Twilio. All right, tirade over. Oof. That's interesting. This chart has been brutalized. Let's just draw our fib and then look at the fundamentals. I got to eat at some point. And then I'm going to figure out my music. I had so much good Bitcoin music playing. Makes me so sad. Got copyrighted. Bastards. Stupid YouTube. All right. So we're above volume shelves. We established a little shelf here. I kind of like that. Could be a bear flag, though. Let's look at the fundamentals of the company, because that's what we need to know, right? Is this company growing or is it dying? Because if it's dying, that chart might make sense. Huh. Actually, I don't hate this. Okay. So revenues are flattened, have flattened. I don't love that. Revenue growth isn't that great, honestly. But net income is starting to improve, and it's not just from operating expenses going down. Cash flow is going up. They are still burning cash, which I don't love. They're burning 141 million a quarter, but they do have 3.2 billion, so they got a lot of cash to survive. What do these guys do? I don't remember. Internet content and information. What is? Oh, cloud computing, something something. I don't know. If I knew a lot about the fundamentals and I knew there's a lot of institutional ownership, I kind of dig that. Retail is not here. This is not a hot stock. So I would be curious to know, is retail coming back from a fundamental standpoint? Is there growth in these guys' future? Because net income's getting better, cash flow's getting better, operating expenses are going down, they've got tons of cash. But the thing is retail going to be interested in the stock in the future? If so, great, it's probably going to go up. If not, this thing could just peter here for a long time. We need to know that this company's growing. If I knew that, again, they're beating earnings, which I like over here on this side. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can. Okay. Over here, they're beating earnings each quarter, which is cool. But I don't know. We gotta have. It's just a no-name stock to me right now, without knowing that they've got this bright future in front of them. So if they've got a bright future, throw it in my comments or something on X, and I can take a look at it closer. But without knowing more about them, I mean, it could just trend here for a while. All right, who else? Adobe. Yeah, Adobe. All right, cool. Let me see if I have that one already. I feel like I looked that up the other day, but I wasn't getting good at. All right, no, I don't. Copy. Adobe. And I think this is going to be here. Let's do this. ADB. I think this is going to be. I'll do one more after this, and that's it. Because I'm getting too many windows and I can't even read them anymore. Adobe. Oof, what a beast. God, such a great company. Just stupid. All right, let's see here. Yeah, these guys, this is just a money printer, man. This is one of those where, like, you got stock purchase in this company, you are rich. You stay with a company like this. This looks like it's ready for launch, at least to test to the 730 range. Um, it's such a high flyer. It doesn't even, that 100 was turned into support since 2012. For a decade, this thing is just like, F you, I'm going up. Let me look at the fundamentals. They're probably really nice. The well-established companies just have such beautiful looking financial statements. Oh, this is weird. Maybe something hasn't generated, or I don't know. I got to figure out what that's about. But net income has grown. What's the market cap on these guys? 13 billion. Okay. Oh, not as exciting as I was hoping for. Shares outstanding are going down. That's cool. Cash is going up. Income's going up. Revenues are pretty decent. Cash flow is going down a little bit. OPEX isn't doing much of anything. I don't know why those sections are missing. Yeah, I don't know. Does these guys have a dividend? If they have a dividend, I can probably see why people are holding it. No, they don't. Oh, I'm on Twilio. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say on this one. The chart does look good, but I don't know if I can justify why it's going up. It's just got steady growth. It seems to be a steady grower, and people like it, and the net income's gotten better. And maybe there's some other stuff behind the scenes that people are interested in. All right, I'm gonna check out NGL, and then I think wait, let me read here real quick. Lou, I have a 401k with only Fidelity selected funds available for purchase. Is a small cap the best bet? Is this a 401k for an existing company? While I'm pulling this other chart up, tell me that. And I'm not a financial advisor. Have you guys seen my little disclaimer down at the bottom? Is that there? Oh, it got covered up. I need to fix that. I am not a financial advisor, just so you know. All right. Let me pull up this other one. NGL. Make a copy. NGL. Is that what it was? NGL? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I gotta fix my disclaimer. You guys need to know that I am not a financial advisor, so you cannot sue me if you lose money. All right. Huh, wow, this thing's done all right. It's topped out on the RSI on the monthly time frame though. That might be a drag on it. They don't really have a lot of money. What is this? Energy companies? I don't know that I'm super excited about energy right now. It's done really well, right? It's done really well since December of 2022, but I don't know if it's going to do that much better in the future. Oil is just not going anywhere. And I don't know if the economy picks up, it could still do all right. Do these guys have a dividend or something? Is that why people like it so much? No. I mean, the base looks decent here. Do like do a trend-based extension from here. I mean, if you look at where it was in 2020 when everything got shut down, it's basically kind of, almost recovered that move. I think it could go higher and it could test up to like this $10 range, but I wouldn't expect a lot more outside of that because I don't think fundamentally energy prices are going to be going up. You could see this downward trend going back from 2014. Energy is just not as valuable of a commodity in an energy abundant world. And despite what people might think from a political standpoint, we're drilling more oil than we ever have. We're getting more natural gas. We're the leading natural gas LNG provider to the world. Um, and then we're pushing renewables. So energy is going to be abundant. And I feel like this is probably toppy. Your financial opinionator. I like that. I should get a business card. Yes, it's in one that, yeah, I would go small cap. Yeah, in that case, not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, but I would go small cap because they're beat up. I showed you the Russell. They're beat up. And if anything's going to do better in the near future and has already had a lot of downward pressure for the last couple of years, it's small caps. So I agree with Tom Lee. He's a very smart guy, and he talks to me every once in a while, which makes me happy. But I think he's right. I think small caps are going to outperform later in the year, and I think that that's going to be awesome for you. I hope. All right, guys, I gotta stop. I need to eat. I got some like kids in my house. It's Friday. We all should be having fun. This sucks. So let's get out and enjoy our lives a little bit. And I'm glad you guys had hopefully a great week. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited right now, guys. I think things are going to continue to get better. Still hedged just in case, right? Still got some TLT, like at least 6 figures just in case. But I'm very excited for what's coming. And I think we all should be. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Let's do it again. Talk to you later. Bye.